We have quorum. Let's go ahead and get started. The chair recognizes the manager.
Thank you, Mayor. There are two people on the public agenda. That's all I've got on page 1. On page 2, number 1 is to increase the amount of airport special facilities revenue bonds at Jabara from $4 million to $6.2 million to allow Clemens Aviation to construct a third 18,000 square foot hangar at the airport. Number 2 is something I've discussed with all of you, and this is to allow us to streamline the special assessment process when we have petitions that have been signed by 100% of the affected property owners. And this would allow, this would actually amend your rules regarding the council agenda and where items appear. And so all of the special assessments that meet the criteria would be at the front end of the agenda, and then you'd get a report from staff similar to what you do with Board of Bids. And again, the whole idea is to streamline the process when there's unanimous consent for property owners. Number 3 is an agreement with Rural Water District 3 to provide water service for 40 acres that have been annexed into the city, but they're still, by law, they're still customers of Rural Water District. This would allow us to take these people over, the residents, when this property is developed, as customers. The district would be compensated for its capital expenses that were related to anticipating this area would be served by them, and that's allowed or required by federal law as well. However, the city would not be putting any of its own funds out. Half of the cost would be through special assessments to the developer and ultimately to the property owners, and then the other half would be through water connection fees as houses are built in the 40-acre area. Number 4 is increasing the budget for the construction of the shelter event / event center in Watson Park, increasing the budget by $100,000 to reflect increased costs that we have. If you remember, bids came in high. We didn't accept any of the bids, and we had to redesign and scale down the project, and we still believe it'll be slightly larger than what we have in the budget. And by the way, that extra $100,000 was in the CIP. It was anticipated in the CIP.
And just a clarification, that is for the creation of a new center, or is that for renovations?
That's a new center, Mayor. It's actually it's a 4-season shelter and event center. On page 3, we have the annual sidewalk maintenance program. The council is being asked to approve a $1 million budget for these repairs, and then we'll recover the cost through special assessments, because it's the repair program that where we assess the property owners for those repairs. Number 6 is the 2021 Csbg application. We would apply for slightly over $1 million to fund healthcare, employment and training, summer activity camps, and way to work programs. Number 7 is amending the agreement we have with Sedgwick County for Housing First, which provides services to the homeless. What this amendment will allow us to do is take a portion of the county's budget and use it to hire a full-time case manager, so that we would have better results, more permanent results with the homeless individuals that are in the program. And then we think we can offset that through vouchers that our housing department has access to, federal vouchers. That's all I have on page 3, and I don't have anything on page 4. On page 5, just one item, and this is really kind of a matter-of-fact item, but number 3, this is the property owner of the Sandstone Apartments exercising their option to buy the property back, or to buy the property, which we held title for during the IRBs, after the IRBs were issued. But they've met all the conditions now and are entitled to purchase the property for $1,000. Mayor, that's all I have.
All right, any discussion or questions about the agenda? Anything for the good of the group?
Yep, I'd like to just wish everyone happy Kansas Day. Today is Kansas's 160th birthday, so celebrate accordingly.
Party on.
So in the legislature, normally someone sings Home on the Range, and I was just wondering if Bob wanted to take this moment to...
Actually, what I will do is I will sing that to myself, and I'll let you know that when I finish.
Excellent. Before we move on, I do want to, or before we, I guess, adjourn, I do want to introduce a intern who will be here for the semester, Ariel. She comes from the Wichita State Political Science Department, junior. She's a political science major with a minor in criminal justice. She will be joining us on Tuesdays and Fridays. And also, I'm asking folks, council members, if there's something interesting happening at the DAB or at any of the other boards that you think would be good for a student to observe, please shoot an email, reach out. I don't have enough work to keep her really that busy, so I'm hoping that we can make sure that they, over at our students have a good experience. Councilmember Fry.
Thank you. Obviously, I was not at the workshop on Tuesday. Apologize for missing that. I just want to kind of quick update on where we're going next. I know there's a lot of discussion about next steps and involving DABs and getting that proposal out. What's happening? I just need an update on that.
I'm going home. That's what working. There's two things. One, we're putting together an engagement schedule that we're going to give out to the council for you to endorse. And then the second piece is there were a number of items the council asked for follow-up, and I'm identifying those and then trying to provide information for you.
Okay. Well, along those lines, it has been brought to my attention from members of the community that the county has an ethics policy that I think we should probably take a look at as well in tandem with what's been proposed, because it's one that they've adopted. It sounds like it's working well. I'd like to see it and compare it to the draft that we have. Maybe there's some language or some policies or some practice in there that we should be considering. So if you could get a copy of that to us as well, I would appreciate that.
And just to follow up on that, I received a text from our dear friend, Commissioner Dennis, and he said that they adopted the Kansas Association of Counties ethics policy, so that might help direct you to find it, but he said they just adopted it, word for word, and they didn't wordsmith at all.
Yeah, so. When I look back at the retreat that we had last summer and the goals and aspirations that we had as a body, we wanted to do it right. We wanted to make sure that we had citizen engagement opportunity and that we weren't trying to reinvent the wheel, but use some best practices. And I think we just need to look at something that's already in existence maybe as well. So if we could get that, that'd be great. I wasn't aware of it. And so because of the workshop on Tuesday, my email's been blowing up and people have been pointing this one out. So I think it's worth looking at.
So I'd like staff to actually look towards that. My understanding is that the county policy is similar to our current policy in that it has no due process, no independent board or investigation type mechanism, and also no fine or penalty. So if that's true, which I think it is, I do know that the reason why staff, I think, went this direction with mimicking our policies after other cities that we're comparable to was to ensure that we had one of the strongest ones in the country, which was, I think, a priority of our first workshop. So, but I could be mistaken. I don't know if for some reason, I could be mistaken that their policy might actually have those features, and if it does, then hopefully it can move that.
I'd still like to look at it because staff doesn't decide policy. We do.
Right.
Yeah, let me get a copy out to all of you. I'll get a copy.
Thanks, Bob.
The only other addition is we had asked that come back to us on February 9th. So the revisions from the workshop will be presented back to the council.
At least so we get that before then, so we could.
I'll try to get the counties out today.
Okay.
And then we're going to go to the DABs in March.
Got it.
And I'm sorry, I had
My first dab is Monday.
Yeah.
The next one is Monday. So.
I know, mine too. I had to step out, I'm sorry, maybe this was already said, but we haven't really had ethics experts advise us on this, have we?
I have for the original drafts.
You have, but we've not had that opportunity.
No.
The council's not had that opportunity, is that correct,
I haven't.
manager?
That's a great point.
So I've had some suggestions from folks in the community that that might be something we would like to look at.
Are they academic experts in this area? And if so, would they be willing to come in and help
No, they
us?
weren't suggesting that they
Oh, okay.
be they suggested that we find experts to advise us.
Okay.
So, thank
And I,
you.
and I think could we just double up on, I guess, the ask about, because there was some discussion about having possibly someone from the Kansas Ethics Committee, maybe even the League of Municipalities come in and I think help us navigate these waters a bit better. And that would coincide with the requests both at the meeting and the one that was brought up today. It would be great if we got, because this is a unique area of law and of practice, and I know that we have I think Miss Williams, who is a retired now. She would be
Yeah.
a good person to probably have a workshop if we could get her to.
She'd be
and-
really good, Mayor. She'd be really good.
Yeah, she's.
Carol Williams, she was the longtime director of the Kansas Ethics.
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I know that name now.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's someone who has
Not that she ever
a,
called me for anything.
Yeah. But you knew her because you
Meet done, right? Right, right.
also the current. I've reached out to the current, the person who replaced Miss Williams, and he is also a expert on this, law school graduate, and he has mentioned to me before that he is more than happy to look at our policy and give feedback. But like I said, my goal, and I think the goal of the council originally, was to ensure that we have one of the strongest policies that brings real purpose to ethics and not just, I think, walking through the motion. So I hope that if other people have content experts who reach out to them, and if anyone's willing to actually come in and give us a presentation, that would be great. All right, if there's no further discussion and there's no objection, then we will adjourn. Thank you.